I hate the introduction parts. Right, okay. I'm gonna give them my actual title this time. Now I know what I am. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm the operations manager here at Trampa, and
I'm Frank. I design most of the parts that you see here. So I share the business with Ted, and a lead designer.
And I think today we're going to talk about Trampa, what's coming up, what we've got in,
what's going on in COVID time.
Yeah, all stuff like that.
I reckon, Frank, firstly, explain kind of what these trips over to Trampa for you, because obviously you're from Germany.
Yeah, I do live in Berlin, and well, I couldn't travel here, so it was the first opportunity to travel to the UK. Really, I mean,
you haven't been here since
January.
Oh yeah, that was January.
So the last time I've been over was January, and then the whole Corona thing kicked in, and it was just impossible for me to travel. The kids at home, schools were closed, lockdown, no flights. So I was basically locked out of the Trampa HQ. Yeah. However, we used the time wisely. And so I did sit down a lot in front of the computer, and we designed a lot of new stuff. And also Benjamin Vetter was pretty active in writing new code, and we have a lot of stuff coming up. Yeah, that's a good thing about it.
Let's talk about some of the things that have already come out so far this year. Obviously the big one, the OBD.
Well, the open belt drive, that's a big thing. I have one here in my hands. Obviously we redesigned the open belt drive front to back. So this is now consisting only of 3 parts. So we strip back parts, which is good for the user, and servicing is easier. Main feature takes 20 millimeter wide belts instead of 16. Has a tension roller, and then it has a tension mechanism. So basically we have a little screw, we can wind that in, so you can really precisely adjust the belt tension. And once the belt tension is adjusted, there's a lock screw, so you wind down the lock screw and the whole thing is locked. It only takes 1 screw to mount the whole thing on the hanger, so you can slide it on, wind down that bolt, and it sits sturdy on the hanger. The other thing is the new pulleys. We have a 76 tooth pulley for the 9-inch wheels. So gearing wise, we're now close to what we can do with a spur. So it's 1 to 4.7, what do we have? 76, 14, so 1 to 5.7.
If you put a 13 tooth on, it's 1 to 5.85.
So
which is bang in the middle between a helical and a straight gear.
Okay, yeah. And we have a bearing now in the slave pulley, so that supports it. It runs more more centered, which is good for an even belt tension. The other thing, we can now put on these motor filters, which help a lot to keep the motors clean, keep all the dust and dirt out. Yeah, so all in all, I would say it will be quite a successful product. Everyone likes it here, I think.
Everybody likes it here. A lot of people are asking me how they can upgrade. We've had team riders switch from pro belts to open belts. We've had people switch from spurs to open belts. Everybody loves the design and wants to get on open belts. It's lighter, the bushings are lasting longer in hangers. There's a lot of benefits, ease of maintenance, everything. Changing a tire.
Changing a belt is also pretty fast now.
Exactly.
So if it happens that you rip a belt apart in the ride, and you have a spare belt with you, what you should, it's now a matter of minutes to swap the belt on this one.
And then that's it, it's back on. Obviously we've had to leave off the axle support that was on the older urban drives, which makes the belt changing a lot easier. Just the 1 axle nut, and then that's it.
Yeah. So that's one big thing. I think that things that happened in the past. The other thing is, well, we have the Phatlads hubs. So we have these nice 9-inch mud plugger wheels. which are really grippy and have good contact patch, good wear characteristics. You get a lot of miles out of these. We needed to put the mud plugger onto the expensive Megastar hubs, and obviously we wanted to create something that is cheaper, easier to mass produce. So benefits for the customer is, going for 9-inch wheels is now a lot more affordable than it used to be. And it's lighter, yeah. So they weigh nearly nothing, they're really light.
Plus the other benefits of, if you're on a spur gear, you can travel with a blown up Phatlad and swap a back tyre very easily, very quickly.
Yeah, it has a double screw system. Actually, it's a triple screw system. I think no one has done that before. So you have basically two screw circles. One is identical to the Superstars. So all the Superstar equipment, all these pulleys that we've done in the past, they fit. So if you just want to upgrade to that hub, you know it fits. It's a straight replacement. There's an outer circle where you can insert additional screws. That's what Dave mentioned, so they could keep them inflated when you take them off. Phone is ringing.
Well, that reminded me
very
to
typical.
put my phone on silent. Just in case.
Very typical.
Private number as well.
Let's turn that off. And it has a hidden bolt pattern. That's something new on these ones. So you can insert bolts or nuts on the inside, and then you can actually close the hub, and then you have basically the bolt poking out on one side, but not on the other. And so that's also a feature that is useful for DIY, but also for our stuff. You want to mount brake discs, and they should stay on while.
So you could have it mounted just to one half of the hub, then assemble the tyre.
Then assemble it. If you have a puncture or something, you don't need to take off the entire brake disc, for example. You can just basically disassemble it and reassemble it. It makes things a bit more convenient in everyday's use. So that's another big thing we've done. What else? We had the Vesc 100-50. First batch is sold out. We're now producing a second batch. The second batch of the 100-50 will have additional features. We'll have an IMU on there. We had some monowheel riders who demanded to have an IMU on that unit, so they don't need to have an external IMU, so that will be part of the Mark II of this one. It can push 22S, just for the ones who want to go higher voltage. It's really interesting for applications where a high voltage makes sense. High voltage is not the cure for every problem, but for example, monowheels, they tend to go for 18, 20, and 22S these days. So they need a controller that is suitable. That's another product that was on our website already. Nothing brand new, but part of this year's development.
Yeah, what about the changes to the Monster Box that we brought out this year?
Oh yeah, new Monster Box, correct. So I think you have seen this beast in a video already where we did a range test. The new Monster Box features power switch, on and off. This one, we have the power switches in different colors. This one lights up blue. Then we have a pocket. You can unwind that. And inside that pocket, you could store either balance leads or XT30 charge cable, or both.
If you're using, say, a custom pack or something, you can put the charge cable through
and
there
everything's
instead.
stored away nice and neatly and protected. The boxes are not. This one is not out of carbon fiber anymore, or the topping isn't carbon fiber anymore.
No, not carbon fiber covered. So we just went with a glass fiber on this one.
Yeah, on this
one. A lot
one.
of people are liking the new sleek sort of matte black look.
It's a bit of a contrast to the deck.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
I do like it. Yeah.
Goes well with the new open belts. In fact, the whole look of this board I love, to be honest.
Yeah, it's nice to see actually that we can fit the street wheels on the open belt drive. When I designed that, I didn't actually design it to fit street wheels.
I think
it wasn't part. It wasn't part of the task.
I think the only thing that we need is a different belt to fit the 33 tooth pulley. I think this is on 37s at the minute, so you could change, have two different gear ratios. Yeah. We could have two different gear ratios with the street wheels.
Most of the Trampa stuff is designed a little bit in a. I compare that to a Lego system. So we have like bricks that you can plug together in different ways. So we can only offer a certain set. But from these parts that we have here, you can do a lot of different stuff. Like this board, I didn't envision it with these wheels, but you could easily put it together from what you found on the shelf.
There's usually a one part that we might need, and then we'll get that made into production and make it possible for anybody else that wants to put together a board like this, because it's all off-the-shelf parts. I believe we've got these on the website now, I think. I think there's a good deal offering them without bindings, so go check that out. I think it's an absolute steal, actually, so have a look at that.
I think the OBDs in general are a bit cheaper than the spare drive.
I think Ted's created a whole package with this board on gummies and on sticky wheels without bindings for a very good price to get people, get the foot in the door sort of thing and start their Trampa journey. Because with that board, you buy that at a cheap price, you can then add your bindings, you can then go to 7-inch, 6.5, 8.
9-inch wheels.
9-inch wheels.
Fully upgradable.
Exactly.
Get the bindings, you have a mountain board.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
brilliant. Yeah, definitely.
Ones. Lots of new colors. Bronze, brown, pink, gold, purple, blue, silver, black. So if you like your wand in a funky color, we have it.
I think we've also got quite a few other things coming in these colours, like bash guards for the Pro Belt drive. For the spur drive, we've got mesh covers for the motors that will be in different colours. I think we've got barrel retainers that will be in different colours as well. And axe spaces. I think spaces as well. So you can, but these will be sold as to people who want to jazz up their board and they want to add some customizability or uniqueness to their own setup. They can change the motor filter covers. They can really match the colorway of their board and go to the extreme. All the way through. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what Trampa's about. You don't see many looking exactly the same, do you? So keep that tradition going.
Yeah.
Going more on the one, Frank. I know Benjamin's always tinkering with different software things. Is there anything we need to look forward to?
Yeah, well, when we introduced the one, we promised some updates, and that we will make use of the IMU, for example. And for the now, it didn't make any sense yet because we had some hardware and software missing where we could actually make use of these features. So one thing we were always thinking about is just gesture control to control, for example, your lights on the board. And that was something that was badly needed, but we can only do so and so much at a time. So we'd love to do everything within 1 year, but it's simply not possible. You have to stay realistic. And we now designed a little I/O board, and that will be able to switch lights. So you will be able, basically, we'll have 12-volt output, 6 switchable 12-volt output. And we have one 5-volt power output for USB charging, fast charging your phone. We'll have a USB jack, so you can, for programming of the Vesc speed controllers, you can then actually having a USB somewhere else on the board, wherever you like it. And ADC inputs, a whole row of ADC inputs. Switches might not, for mountain boards, it might not make so much sense, but you could, for example, have a switch on the board to kick on the lights, but you could then maybe use your one to do the same. So next thing we will do is once the I/O boards arrive, we will then work on new firmware for the one, so that, for example, swiping the one left will put on the blinkers left, swiping the one right will put on the blinkers right, up button will put the headlights on, down button will switch them off, or underboards lights on. So we need to think about gestures and try them a little bit out. And it will enable you to put a professional lighting system on the board, even with brake lights. So when you brake, that actually brake lights would come on, stuff like that. Whole size of the I/O board will be roughly the size of a 21700 cell. So we managed to get that really small, and we can be able to output something like 6 amps on the 12 volt rail and another 5 amps on the 5 volt rail. So that should be enough to run strong headlights, blinkers and horn and whatever you want to put on the board, underboard light.
Yeah, it'd be cool. That will. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an outlook.
I've heard talk about like being able to charge your phone. Or even a camera.
Yeah, your phone.
Yeah, phone, GoPro camera, whatever you want. There's so much. 12 volt is pretty universal. So there was also a lot of equipment that you can put on motorbikes that's 12 volt driven. Put a cigarette lighter on. Cigarette lighter on for the smokers. Whatever.
Heated gloves or something like that.
That's something we'll work on next.
Increase of the wand heated. That'd be quite cool.
Well, I did actually put my wand on the radiator the other day, so it was really nice and warm. We went out for the ride, I had that warm thing in my hand. It was quite convenient.
I think at the minute the one's been pretty rock solid, and we've been very busy on other projects, but with the new I/O board that's coming, we can push these gesture controls now and get that code written.
Yeah. Software for the I/O board is pretty much nailed, but we still need to code an interface so that you can actually define what it does when you turn that switch on, for example. We need an interface in Vesc tool, so the user can actually define which output is which and which action actually switches on the light X. So that will still take some time, but we're on it, banging on that.
What else you got?
What else have I got? Well, I mean, I don't want to tell me if you don't want to talk about this stuff, but
you can cut it there,
new Vesc hardware.
Oh yeah, we've done a lot of Vescs. I don't call them Vescs. People call them Vescs. No, I call them Vesc speed controllers, because there is so much Vesc stuff coming out soon that Vesc is more like a universe. It becomes really like a system that enables you to create products. So you will have the Vesc speed controllers, Vesc BMS systems, Vesc I/O, Vesc logging, whatever. So we grow that with Vesc remotes. So it becomes really a round package. We've done a very small new Vesc speed controller. We call it the HD. HD stands for high density. The idea was to crack that thing as small as humanly possible, basically. And the benchmark that Benjamin and I had was your credit card or your driver's license. So we wanted to create a twin controller in that size. And the idea was it shouldn't be higher than 18 millimeters, which resembles the height of an 18650 cell. and that thing is in production. So you can expect that before Christmas.
Can we talk about our testing and?
Well, we use the HD. The HD itself is not a rushed through project, and that's something important for the users to know, because I know there are some other companies out there. They rush through stuff. They want to be first movers, and things ultimately go wrong, and there are issues, and we don't like that. So the HD is a project we started more than 2 years back. And we had the first prototypes already in late 18. So we had more like a whole season to test them, more like 2 seasons to test them, to ride them, and put them on a test bench. And so we're really confident this product is rock solid. It's pretty powerful. It can push 75 amps per channel. Has a built-in Bluetooth 5, NRF 52840. It is very, very feature-rich, and it's very serviceable. It's made of several PCBs, which are all swappable, so if something fries for whatever reason, you do not need to change the entire unit. There are spare parts, then you can just basically change out one power stage from one side and change out the other power stage if that's needed.
Because that's one of the worries, I suppose, for people who run a dual controller.
Yeah, it has always been. If you have a dual controller, something goes wrong with that dual controller.
On one side, say, and then you might have to replace the whole unit.
You have to replace the whole unit. The idea about the dual controllers, I think, was to cut the cost down, but it had some downsides.
Yeah.
And the HD is very cost efficient to produce. So for the user, that will basically mean they can purchase that a lot cheaper than 2 individual controllers. And if something goes wrong, it is fixable. So each channel is fixable on these one. It's also a highly redundant design. So Benjamin and I wanted to have as much redundancy in that thing as possible. Has something to do with safety. If one side fails, you don't really want that the other side cuts out. So I think people will like that unit, simply because of its size, its capabilities, feature richness. Vesc 6 will still be king of control with its 3 high side shunts and capabilities to switch far away from or sample far away from the switching cycles, which has some benefits. And Vesc HD is still a very good controller, although it doesn't have these features.
What would you see the Vesc HD being predominantly used for?
Definitely skateboards. We use it in our mountain boards. It's powerful enough for them. So
you think, and then small enough for your DIYers to make.
For DIYers, it's brilliant because you get a lot more cells in. This thing is so small. Take your credit card out of the out of your pocket. That's the size. It's 1 centimeter longer than your credit card, but that's it. You save a lot of space in the battery box.
Means more pack, more range.
Yeah, or additional things like more space for a proper BMS.
Yeah.
I/O boards, lighting systems. Big volume saver.
We have been testing the HD in mountain boards, and it hasn't faulted through everything that we've thrown it through. You've probably seen it in some videos, but not seen it being ridden.
Yeah, Nathan thrashing down in the woods.
Exactly.
That's the HD.
Thoroughly tested for the skateboard use. Definitely.
Definitely. Another thing that worth mentioning is that the Vesc HD will be ASS capable, and people know that we coded HFI beginning of this year, high frequency injection, which was, I think, a big success in the market because all of a sudden you could use motors without sensors and have relatively smooth startup without sensors. ASS will be one step further. ASS will basically be full torque from zero without the need of all sensors. So, and it won't be as noisy as HFI. We call it advanced sensorless startup.
I know that. Can we say about it being available in the Mark V?
Yeah, sure. I mean, sure. I mean, we will upgrade all our hardware will be ASS capable in future. That's sure. I mean,
so the new Mark Vs that will be out shortly, they'll have it ready. They'll probably be here before the HDs.
Yeah. There's still, we call it ASS ready at the moment because we still need to do some more testing and coding. We don't want to rush software through that is not 100% tested. So we need to put miles on that thing. But if you buy hardware, then you know it works. In most cases, I would say today most motors have sensors and you have HFI. So we have already perfect smooth startup. But it's good to know that this will even improve further.
Yeah, and without the noise. I heard like 2 people complain about the noise. So
I quite like the noise, to be honest. You know, some
like it, some don't. That's the way it is. I mean, sometimes it's good if you go slow. You have to stop because they're pedestrians. They can hear you a little bit when you accelerate, and so they get an idea that you're around them. So that it has a bit of an advantage. And we know that cars these days, new electric cars, they need to have a sound generator on. They make funny noises, but they are totally artificial.
ESS or something like that sound button they have on them.
Yeah.
It sounds weird when they're at low speed, don't they?
Maybe we can put speakers in the space in the box with the Vesc HD.
Yeah, actually we could. I mean,
make some racing car noises.
Yeah. I mean, we do use the Vesc speed controllers also as subwoofer drivers.
Yeah. What are they, about 3,000 watt they can push out?
Yeah, you can. It's Vesc 6 is probably good enough for a medium-sized outdoor concert. What else? I mean, we did work on battery management systems.
I was going to say, we mentioned in the BMS and the standalone and what that might mean to people running LiPo packs.
Yeah, well, not only all sorts of packs. So, I mean, we're in the lucky position that we have the Vesc tool 3.0 already on our phone. So we have already full balancing information on, in the Vesc tool. So we designed a very small BMS that is, roughly 130 millimeter long, and I think
about
20 something millimeter wide.
Yeah.
So it's for guys who have underboard trays, they can actually put it in front of the battery. So it's probably as wide as the battery tray or a bit shorter than that. And so we wanted to squeeze it short so you don't add too much addition, or you don't have to lose space to the BMS. That was the idea, and we can balance up to 18 cells with that.
And what I'm saying, you'll be able to plug in LiPo cells, use a simpler unbalanced charger. BMS will monitor those cells individually rather than the whole pack voltage like what the Vesc used to. So even if one cell hits the cutoff, that's it. You know, it won't drain anymore. From the pack.
Because it's fully CAN connected. So the speed controller itself knows what's going on with the battery. that has definitely benefits. There's some other features on this BMS that nobody has done yet, as far as I know. Can use the processor to switch some external stuff. I think everyone really excited for that, but we will give it a little bit more testing. We have a couple of prototypes in boards and with batteries now.
I think we've been going for like 25 minutes, so I'll wrap. I've got, like, obviously you're designing stuff a lot, Frank. Where can you see, or where are you pushing like Trampa design and like Trampa in like kind of next 5 years? What are you looking to push stuff towards?
Next 5 years. 5 years is
that's a long time in Trampa.
It's a long time. I mean, when you see where we started and where we are now, and you will project that, and we accelerate. I mean, it's not like
it's not linear, is it?
It's not linear. It's a curve, and let's hope that the whole Corona thing doesn't.
But I'll try and find a photo or video of a board we were making. Do we make electric boards 5 years ago, or was that even? I can try and find a photo.
No, I mean past 5 years ago.
No, 5 years. I'll show.
5 years back,
I show a picture of a board 5 years ago, and then like that's the progression from then to now. So that like.
Yeah. Well, my folder is. Electrification was basically 2014, 13 we started. So now it's 20. So since the first really board that you could buy from Trampa boards, I don't really remember that. Like something where you only would need to drop in batteries. It's not that far back.
Probably what would you say, the 2017? Was that the most sort of rounded board that you drop batteries in? When the Vesc 6 came out, probably.
Yeah, Vesc 6 was a bit earlier, but 17. Well, it's I don't really know. I mean, we bang on all sorts of stuff, also higher power stuff that is non-skateboard related. Obviously, the technology that that drives these boards, it's applicable to other things, and it's quite astonishing to see where the Vesc speed controllers are, where you can find them these days. I mean, you find them in deep sea applications, you find them in space applications, you find them in robot arms, you find them in medical delivery drones, wheelchairs, artificial heart. I mean, we've seen so many applications, and there's a demand for higher power stuff. So let's see when the first race car is racing down the track on Vesc, high power Vesc speed controllers. I can see that.
Yeah, we're heading that way.
But I do like the skateboards. I mean, that's. I think the Corona situation showed us a little bit that alternative transportation is on everyone's mind. A lot of people didn't like to use the public transport, so they were looking for alternatives. And I do see that alternative application will get a boost in the next years. And whether that's a skateboard, a monowheel, or something we don't even think about today, whatever it is, if it's electric, it will need probably a battery, BMS, a speed controller, all sorts of Vesc related equipment, and we'll also need hardware like wheels and motors and all that.
Have you got anything else to add, Dave? Any words of wisdom?
No, not really. I think we've covered it all. I'm excited for the next one where we can talk about more stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know when I will be able to fly over again. I mean, the situation could turn really bad in the winter, and it could be that the flights are cancelled. Don't really know what will happen in the next month. Let's hope the best. Let's hope that the people will behave and not spread this disease too much.
Yeah, let's hope for a good season next year. Hopefully get some events in, get some racing done. Put on new controllers,
I'm not so optimistic for events in the next year, to be honest. I think
we'll do something.
I think we should plan. I think we should plan bigger events in 2022.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably, yeah. Unfortunately, but
We can't end it on like a sad note.
Yeah. Cheers.
It was really crazy. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.